Turn heads and bring the hype with a custom hype chain from Lotwin. Perfect for youth sports, fantasy football, or just flexing your pride. Go to Lotwin.com, use the promo code TCCPOD for 10% off your order. That's Lotwin.com, promo code TCCPOD for 10% off. Get your custom hype chain and get hype with Lotwin. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for February 24th, 2026. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the podcast. Hopefully, everyone has dug out and the snow started to melt somewhat, but it is Tuesday. That means it's time for a little motivation / positivity brought to you by the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network. Go to clashingconferences.com to see what they have to offer, how you can join and get involved today. I'm a proud member of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network myself. All right, so this little saying is pretty much a take on do unto others as you would have them do unto you, but it's something that I've been sitting on for a couple of years now, and I really do like this. And sometimes, especially when there's snow and people are just over it and sick of it, sometimes serves as a good reminder. And the saying is treat people like it's their worst day of their lives. And that's it. Because honestly, you never know. It could be the worst day of someone's lives. It might not be. It could be the best day. But if you go into every interaction thinking that this person's having the worst day, so I'm going to go out of my way to be a little bit nicer. Go out of my way to be a little bit more compassionate. Go out of my way to show a little bit more grace and empathy. I think you're going to have a good day, and the interaction is going to go well. Because truthfully, you don't know what everybody's going through. A lot of times people put on the brave face, put on the smile, when inside they're just getting eaten alive. And I know from experience because I do it all the time. I don't share a lot. Sometimes, and I know it's funny because I feel like I do share a lot on here, but there are times where it's just like, you know what? I'm just going to suck it up, put on the brave face, and go with it. And we all have those days. Sometimes it's one day, sometimes it's over an extended period of time. But the point is, you never know. So when you go and interact with meet with someone or talk with someone, act like and treat them like it's the worst day of their lives, and go out of your way just to be a little kinder to everyone. It could be someone you interact with 30 seconds at while getting your coffee, or Starbucks, wherever you're getting coffee, or getting a breakfast sandwiches, or the waiter at dinner. Or it could be somebody you're working with and spending the next 8 hours with. Either way, go in with that mindset that this is the worst day of their lives, so I'm going to do a little bit extra to be a little nicer. And that means going into interactions with understanding, patience, judgment-free. I said about giving people grace and understanding. And truthfully, this does not cost anything. It's free to do. It's a choice you make. Yes, you could be frustrated at being one of those bad day people, and you would want somebody to just be a little bit empathetic to you, because we all have that moment. But I think if before you go into any interactions, you pause, you think, and make a conscious effort to be a little kinder, I think you're going to have a better day. And truthfully, it becomes more natural, and it makes you feel better, and does wonders for your own mood. And as I mentioned, on the flip side, people don't know what you're going through. And even if you're going through a lot, chances are there's somebody going through something worse than you. So make that decision to just go out of your way and be a little kinder. Be the person who makes someone's worst day just a little bit better. I feel like there's way too much negativity in our world right now. So by making that decision to be a little kinder, bring in that good karma and send some of those good vibes out into the universe. And again, it doesn't cost a thing, and it's easy to do. So as you go through your weeks, every person you interact with this week, try it. treat them like it's their worst day and see how things go. And that is Tuesday Positivity and Motivation, or Tuesday Motivation / Positivity, brought to you by the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network. Go to clashingconferences.com for details. All right, some quick housekeeping. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, and continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. Working with Kyle today to get a date solidified for the next Brotherly Birds breakdown as we gear up for free agency, the draft, and the league new year. So details forthcoming on that. But the best way to stay in the loop is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And of course, Ella's slowly getting to her goal of 200 boxes of cookies. So if you can, help a girl out. And yesterday's trivia question, we talked about Herb McGee becoming the all-time winningest coach in NCAA history. He was eventually passed by Coach K. But he said, considering all divisions and men's and women's, who is the winningest coach of all time in NCAA history? That would be Norristown's own Gino Auriemma, winning all those games with the UConn Huskies. The Olympics are over. Flyers back in action tomorrow. Trade deadline's coming up. It should be interesting to see what the Flyers do here. They're kind of teetering. They started off hot, haven't been so good. So what is the move here for the Flyers? So we'll be watching that. It gives us a little something to keep our eye on with the Fly Guys. And then the Sixers are back in action tonight to take on the Pacers out in Indiana. Likely no Joe for the 6th straight time. And here we are. Almost the exact same time it was last year. Are they going to get their Tom Petty on and free fall, or do they have enough talent to make it? I don't know. I really don't know. I want to be positive, but I'm not doing it. I'm not going to fall for it. Now, they win 5 games in a row, be back on the Sixers bandwagon.
Hey guys, guess what time it is? It's cookie season. I'm Ella here, your favorite Girl Scout, and we have your oldies but goodies. Lemonades, dimmits, peanut butter sandwiches, and more. This year we have a new cookie flavor called the Explore Mart. My goal is 200 boxes, so please make that happen. You're going to buy cookies anyway, so why not buy them from me?
All right. February 24th is a milestone day in Philly sports for a lot of our teams and players. So let's start with 1947. And on this day in 1947, the Phillies opened up spring training in Clearwater, Florida for the first time ever, and they have been there ever since. And I will say, as if you've never been down, I highly suggest going down. We went down last year. We went and saw a game. It's just a different vibe. The town pre-spring break is outstanding. There's a lot of Philly fans, obviously a lot of people from this area, but there's also a ton of just other baseball fans. Everybody coming from the cold winter towns going down there to see their team play, get a little vacation in the middle of winter. But I highly recommend going down there. Some decent restaurants. The beaches are beautiful. And it's just, if going to Baycare Field is just, it's an awesome experience. It's very similar to minor league. And you have the major league players there. So I highly recommend it. But on this day in 1947, Phillies open up spring training in Clearwater, Florida for the first time. And they have been there ever since. Fast forward 20 years, and the Sixers won their 5th straight game, 149-118 over the Baltimore Bullets in Pittsburgh. Hal Greer dropped 36, but the story, as it usually was back then, was all about Wilt Chamberlain, who messed around on this day and had a triple-double, 42 points, 30 rebounds, and 10 assists. Now, his 42 points came on 18 for 18 shooting from the floor, which set an NBA record for most field goals made in a game without a miss. So he went 18 for 18, and I mean, if you look up at some of these players now, they just jack up threes all the time. So that's a pretty impressive feat for Wilt to go 18 for 18. But he also went perfect from the floor 2 other times that season, where he made 15 without a miss and 16 without a miss. That 18, though, on this day in 1967 is still the NBA record. And you know I always like to do this. If you're keeping score at home, the modern record is 14 by Thomas Bryant in 2018 while playing for the Wizards. All right, and I apologize for this one in advance, but on this day in 1975, Elton John released Philadelphia Freedom, written to honor his friend Billie Jean King, who was the player-coach of the Philadelphia Freedom in the World Team Tennis League. The song would go on to reach number 1 on the Hot 100 charts later that spring. We also included it on last summer's This Day in Philly Sports History Summertime playlist, which you can find on Spotify. But you're very welcome for the earworm on this day. Philadelphia Freedom by Elton John was written and released on this day for his dear friend Billie Jean King, who the Philly tie here is, obviously other than the name, she was a player coach for the Philadelphia Freedoms, the World Team Tennis team here in Philadelphia. And all I can hear is the dun 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 dun. So now you're welcome for getting that stuck in your head. And then fast forward 10 more years, Flyers beat the Flames at the Spectrum 4-1. Dave Poulin, Brian Popp, and Ron Sutter all had a goal and an assist. Rick Tocchet, future Flyers coach Rick Tocchet, also scored in this game. The win was the Flyers franchise's 700th win. They were the first of the next 6 expansion teams to get to that 700 mark. We talked a lot about their current wins the other day, and it was their 7th win in a row there in 1985 as they were about to embark on a Stanley Cup Finals run. But on this day, Flyers beat the Flames 4-1. Get their franchise's 700th win, becoming the first next 6 expansion team to hit that mark. And then 1999, senior night at the Apollo of Temple. I was in the building for this, honoring the Temple. I think he was the only senior on that team, but honoring Rasheed Brokenborough. Temple beats Fordham. Lamont Barnes, my all-time, other than Pepe Sanchez, probably Lamont Barnes is one of my favorite players. I love all those guys, to be honest. But Lamont Barnes had 23 as John Chaney gets his 600th win as a NCAA coach, dating back to his days at Chaney State. That was a team that Temple ended up going on the Elite 8 run, where they ended up losing to that stacked Duke team. Up in the Jersey Meadowlands. I was there for that. That was just a frustrating loss. But on this day, John Chaney gets his 600th win in his career. All right, and finally, our Black History Month spotlight, forged in Philly. Today, we're spotlighting Reggie Jackson, who's a Cheltenham High School graduate who went on to become a 14-time All-Star, 5-time World Series champion, won the MVP in 1973 for the American League. Mr. October, though, also won, probably more importantly, 2 World Series MVPs, was just clutch when it came time for the playoffs and World Series to start. Ended his career with 563 homers. He is in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He's in the A's Hall of Fame, Yankees Monument Park. His number 9 and number 44 are retired by the A's and Yankees, respectively. Now, he makes this list because growing up, he had to face a lot of racism. It was a determining factor on where he ended up going to school. He came up during the same time with Dick Allen and all those guys who were dealing with the lingering effects of the color barrier and just nastiness, especially when you would go down to places in the South. He also overcame 5 fractured vertebrae, which he hurt in high school playing football, but he was able to overcome that and become one of the greatest players to ever play the game. He played with swag. He played with confidence. He played with that clutch gene that you can't really teach. You either have it or you don't. He was forged in Cheltenham, which borders Philadelphia, to embrace pressure, trust his confidence, and rise when the lights are the brightest. Reggie Jackson certainly was the I can never say that. Reggie Jackson certainly was the straw that stirred the drink, and he is today's Forged in Philly Black History Month spotlight. Reggie Jackson, Abington Township, Cheltenham High's own, my neighbor, practically, is today's Mr. October, is today's Forged in Philly spotlight. On this day in 1999, Temple beats Fordham 71-49, giving John Chaney his 600th career win. In 1985, Flyers win their 700th game in franchise history. Told you, it was all about the milestones today. In 1975, Elton John released Philadelphia Freedom to honor Billie Jean King. You're welcome for having that stuck in your head all day. Dun, 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 dun. I used to be... Anyway. 1967, Wilt Chamberlain goes 18 for 18 from the floor, setting an NBA record for the most baskets made without a miss in an NBA game, en route to a 42, 30, and 10 triple-double. It was a good day for good old Wilt. And then in 1947, the Phillies opened up spring training in Clearwater for the first time. They're still there today. And that is our milestones for this day, February 24th, 2026. Don't forget to buy the cookies. Buy the cookies. But no trivia question today. We're in that kind of lull where it's tough. I will do better. I will do better. I promise I will do better. But yesterday's trivia question, Gino Auriemma was the all-time winningest coach of all levels. We will be back tomorrow for What If Wednesday. We'll recap the Sixers, any Phillies, Eagles, and Flyers news as we start gearing back up. We've changed gears. We're back, going to start getting into a flow in the next week or two. Got the Phillies preview coming up, Women's History Month coming up. So lots of good things on the horizon here at this day in Philly sports history. Don't forget, treat people like it's their worst day of their lives. It goes a long way in helping them out, and it will help you out and make you feel better as well. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for February 24th, 2026. My name's Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Tuesday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.